Hello guys, welcome to Code Runner YouTube channel. In today's video, we will going to see about today's daily challenge and daily test solution. So today's daily challenge, they given a fill in the blanks code. Question is they given an integer n and we need to count all the factor in a given integer. So if the given integer is 4, the factor after 4 is going to be 1, 2 and 4. Total there is a 3 factor. So our output is 3. This is the fill in the blanks code for today's daily challenge. So here we need to initialize our factor count equal to 1. So because in for loop they iterate only half of the integer, we need to also include the same integer because integer itself is a factor for the integer. So to include that integer, we need to initialize a factor count equal to 1. And in the for loop we need to increment our factor count. So that's all about today's daily challenge. Now we move to daily test. In today's daily test, I given an integer n and the n integer are separated by the alphabets. The alphabets length is going to be only 1 only. And we need to calculate the sum of the n integer. In this first test case, the n is 4 and the n integer is 10, 5, 240 and 23. If we sum all the integer, we get 278 as output. So now we are going to see how to solve it. So for that I take first test case as input. Okay. So this is our first test case. Now I am going to get n value first. In this test case the n value is given as 4. And after getting 4 we use any loop to iterate until 4. So for each iteration I am going to get both this number and the character next to it. For second iteration I am going to get the input of this number and this character, and in third iteration I am going to get this number and this character. In fourth iteration I am going to get this number and the character. So here there is no character, no problem. We need to worry about the given integers only, not about the character. So this is the logic. Now we use this logic to write our code. So I already written the code. In this line I initialize some value to add all the given n integer. So after that I initialize a n value to get input from user. After getting input from user I use while loop to get both integer and character simultaneously. So after getting integer separately I need to add the value of current integer to sum. So after that we are going to print the sum value. So our code is completed. Now we analyze the time complexity of the code. Our time complexity of code is O of n. The n represents the number of integer we going to get. So now we are going to analyze the space complexity. The space complexity of the code is O of 1. Now we are going to see how to solve today's daily test in Python. So why Python means in Python there is no any function to get input and character separately. So if I going to call input function for first line, so it get all the entire line. And so for first input it going to get entire line. That is our first line 4. So next if I going to get call another input function, it get all the whole entire second line. So there is no built-in function to separately get input 10 a 5 w like that. To separate integer and alphabet, I am going to use regular expression. So first using regular expression, I am going to import a library called RE. I am going to first skip the n value. In this logic, the n value is not needed. So I am going to simply skip the n value, and I am going to get the next line. So after getting next line, I am going to call split function from RE. So this split function is a given string into the separate string by using regex value. First argument as a regex value. This square bracket indicates that any character within the square bracket is going to be act as a delimiter to split a given string. So our delimiter is going to be small a to small z and capital A to capital Z, because in question they said that given integer are separated by the alphabets only. So all the alphabets going to be only one character. So this is enough to split our given string. So after the second argument is going to be our s. So after splitting all the value, they return a list that contains all the separated integer. but the thing is all the separated integer is in string format, so we need to convert the string to integer. So for that I going to use map function. So in map function, our first argument is going to be int, and the second argument is going to be our iterator. After converting all the integer from string to int format, so we going to sum all the values. So for that I call sum function. After add all the n value, we need to print it. So I am going to call print function. So yeah, our code is completed now. So now I run the code and give that first test case as a value. So this is our first test case value. So I'm going to press enter. So if I'm going to after pressing enter, it gives 278 as a value. So it's exactly matched to the first test case value. Python code works fine. Now we are going to analyze the time complexity of this code. This split function is going to take O of n time complexity. The n is nothing but number of characters in the second line. Time complexity is O of n. So our space complexity is going to be O of 1 only, because we did not use any extra space. That's all about this daily test. So thanks for watching. Bye.